Let's give it up for our next TED-like talk.
First of all, thank you, UX India, for this opportunity. Really glad to be here. UX India is very generous with me this time. Thank you. Okay, so I just have 18 minutes. I don't know where's the timer. Yeah, timer starts. So a personal story from the recent past, okay? One day my boss called me and said, Alipta, you have to be an AI expert. What does that mean? I don't know. So my AI journey, by the way, when I say AI journey, I'm talking about generative AI, right? My AI journey started, just a year back, and I started exploring, learning a lot of, materials from YouTube, Medium articles, blog posts, a lot of things, right? And then when I had some idea about AI, I wrote my first article, Design Thinking to AI Thinking, which was published in Medium. Soon after that, UX Magazine, which is also a popular e-magazine over the internet, wanted to republish that same article, right? I did that as well. And then, I also started giving this topic in different forums, right? This is one of the photographs I had from, in one of the previous forums I gave, right? So, every time I started learning about AI, my thoughts constantly evolved. Because AI as a technology is constantly evolving, right? So what I'm presenting today, this deck, actually is incomplete. It's a work in progress version. Because everything is work in progress. Design is never done, right? Okay, so look at these water bottles. How much of revision this has gone through, right, over the past many years, right? The one which you see on the extreme left, my mom did not buy me this. And the one which you see on the extreme right, UV light built into the lid, sanitize your bottle in seconds, that's very costly. I don't want to buy it. Probably after 10 years, 20 years from now, my daughter will tell the same thing. My dad did not buy me this, right? Anyway, so look at the revisions it has gone through over the past many years. So in a way, as said by Daniel Zeng, AI thinking will likely remain as a dynamic notion, needing updates and revisions, right? Quick disclaimer, guys, the views are mine. Please don't sue my company, okay? Okay, so this is me, Alipta, Ballav, 25 years of design career. I enjoy doing meaningful work, and also a co-founder of Design Shots is a very small focus group where you talk about AI and UX, right? And these are some of the companies I work with, Wipro, Harman, Oracle, and currently in Microsoft. That's about me. Okay, so everybody knows about this, right? T-shaped profile. And this T-shaped profile is applicable to any industry, correct? Not just in design. Really, we all have grown like this, right? We are all T-shaped, correct? Maybe in the initial days of my career, I did a lot of things: content design, visual design, UX, business analysis, front-end development to a large extent. So to me, content design was like changing levels of a button. How do I distinguish between a submit or a save, right? That was many years back, right? But content design is a field today, right? It has changed a lot. Visual design, UX. So basically what I'm saying is I have grown, deepened my knowledge in UX, and that's why I'm a T-shaped profile, right? But then, look at this person, Leonardo da Vinci. He was mostly famous for his painting called Mona Lisa, right? But apart from being a painter, he has a lot of ideas on these topics: civil engineering, chemistry, geometry, maths, optics, physics. So basically, here's a polymath. A polymath is someone who has expertise in different domains, different disciplines, right? So he is ideally a comb-shaped profile. And probably the future for design is also comb shaped, right? Because design, if you want to be great at design, I think you need to connect the dots, right? With computational thinking, AI thinking, economics, social science, psychology, and business, right? So I'd say design is more of zooming out. And this is something which I am not saying. Recently, Don Norman was in India. In his recent visit, he said, designers actually feel powerless if they are not able to connect the dots with politics, social science, and different topics, right? That's a fact. So as I said, design is more about zooming out. A chair in the room, right? A room in the house in a society, right? And society in a cityscape, right? That's how zoom out. And probably you understand whether that chair which you're building for that particular house is something which actually applies to that cultural context, right? So we need more horizontal expansion, as simple as that. The thought is very clear there. We need more horizontal expansion because, as Leonardo da Vinci said, these are the principles for development of a complete mind. Study the science of art, study the art of science, realize that everything connects to everything else. So imagine game theory, India and Pakistan playing, right? In order to win, you always look at the videos like, that's game theory, right? And similarly, in politics, we want to win over other parties. So actually we do game theories, right? And it is just not me I'm saying. There are many designers who are saying it, study the world. Study sculptures, paintings, cars, watches, many things around you so that you're able to connect the dots together, right? Cool, so design thinking, we all know about it. I'm not going to explain what is design thinking today, but what is AI thinking? It's a mindset, right? Rather a process, or rather a way to look problems through the lens of computation, right? Let me explain that in a bit. Imagine there's a scenario where I'm designing a hospital experience for patients, correct? Now these are probably the 5 steps I'll go through. Empathize, ideate, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So at the empathize stage, I'll definitely talk to patients, families, stakeholders, right? Understand their experiences, feelings, and pain points, correct? And then probably once I get a grasp on their on the findings, and I'll probably define the problem, like maybe long waiting times. We all experience that in Indian hospital, right? Pretty common. We feel anxious, patients feel anxious, like when will my turn come, right? Ideate, maybe a better signage, a probably mobile app, a digital solution always as you think, or a new layout, spatial design, which might make patients comfortable, right? And then you do a prototype and then you test. Very simple process. But then the thing is, so the thing is, how do I look the same problem through the lens of AI thinking? Look at the difference. The first point, data collection analysis, doesn't change much, right? You definitely need to talk to stakeholders to get those data, patient feedback, electronic health records. If you have access to them, of course, sensor data might help you, right? And then we do predictive analytics on top of it, right? Whatever data we get, we kind of tell that, okay, at this particular time, we need more members in the hospital to manage the crowd, right? NLP, probably application of chatbots. All those boring works can be done using chatbots, right? There are a lot of patient queries about doctors, which day they're coming, are they busy, a lot of other questions, right? So this can be definitely solved with using NLP. And automation, like implement AI to do those mundane tasks of appointment scheduling, billing, and stuff like this, so that hospital staff can focus on patient care, correct? And also enhance patient monitoring. Wherever there's a requirement for critical care patients, we can definitely leverage them, right? So look at the difference. Design thinking, we are solving a problem through the lens of a designer. From AI thinking, we are solving through the lens of computation, right? This slide may not be relevant here, because I'm just telling you why. Because things have changed over time, right? Now, design thinking, if I say, why do you think there are so many knives here? because every knife has a purpose, right? So there are bread knives, chef's knives, fillet knife, slicing knife, maybe different, I don't know a lot of them actually. The thing is, a prior design solution really fits a new problem, right? So without much of an adaptation, right? But then with AI thinking, a solution might often fit without much of an adaptation. But this was an earlier concept when ChatGPT came, because ChatGPT can have answers to everything. But today scenarios have changed. And now my next focus here is talking slightly about agents, right? What is agents? Let's focus some of the thinking, focus areas of AI thinking, right? Okay, so the first thing definitely is leverage knowledge base. So if you really want to be an AI thinker, you have to study the world, right? You have to have that required amount of knowledge to solve that particular problem, right? So this is just a prompt, and this is an agentic prompt. My daughter is turning 10, she loves Barbie dolls, we live in Bangalore. Give me some options for planning her birthday. Do you think ChatGPT will be able to do very good response out of this? No, it cannot. But if you use agents within ChatGPT, it can do, because what agents will do, they will basically break the problem, break this entire statement into smaller parts, and then they'll distribute it with autonomous agents, right? So what an agent will do, where can you get best Barbie dolls? What is trending in Bangalore, right? And what does a 10-year-old girl would like to have on her birthday? So these are all agentic workflows. So I think what I'm trying to say here is, as an AI thinker, you need to connect the world and have that knowledge so that you keep on feeding those knowledge into the model, right? So when AI uses a knowledge base for problem solving, it's like looking up to a library. And who is the library? You are the library. I am the library, right? So you need to have that enormous amount of knowledge to train that model, correct? Reason and common sense. So I think a French writer from 18th century, Voltaire, said that common sense is not common, right? Okay, so how do you cross streets, right? So normally if you look at the signals, right? But how do you cross streets in India? You say, right? You do right. So there's a lot of cultural context here coming, right? So the way people do things in abroad, maybe we do things differently, right? So if AI is trained over the data, what is available on the web, it will spit out garbage, right? But then if you use human interventions like human feedback and crafted examples probably, it can really give you better output, right? But then in order to give that crafted examples of feedback, you need to have that knowledge base. So what I'm saying is, I'm just focusing on only one thing here. You have to learn AI, not just AI. You have to learn about a lot of other topics apart from design, apart from your craft. And that's pretty much about it, right? Okay, so enable processing of semantics and context. So I actually did a small experiment some time back. So I wrote this prompt, a boy feeling cool. I used a popular search engine, right? And I use a image tool which can generate AI images, right? So I got two different results. A search engine saying the boy is actually feeling cold. He's feeling cold about, right? But in the generated AI tool, I got the actual picture what I wanted. So here the thing is the intent. AI has to understand our intent, right? So that intent is very important. And as AI thinkers, right, you are the person. If you are at all get the opportunity to train that AI model, you need to have that intent built into that AI model, right? So that is exactly what I'm trying to focus on here. So a compiler needs to know what's the meaning of words, right? And how it changes based on the context and the situation, right? Last but not the least, deal with a lot of unstructured data. I think as human beings, we deal a lot, right? Maybe from the morning you might have dealt with a lot of unstructured data today. Maybe you could make sense out of it, maybe you could not, right? So on a Sunday, if your wife asks you to clean up this wardrobe, how will you feel? It's an unstructured data for you because it has never planned for you, right? It is an unplanned thing for you, right? But if your wife tells you to do it, you might have to do it, right? There's no there's no escape, right? So now, how do you deal with that situation, right? Probably you follow the steps. Empty the wardrobe, figure out what type of dress items are there, check the frequency, and do all possible things to make the wardrobe look better, right? And that's about it. So, teaching computers to understand this messy information is important, right? And as AI thinkers, I think you have to deal with unstructured data, make sense out of it, and feed into the model, right? So that is exactly I'm talking about. Okay, I think I'm just at the last part of my presentation. See, I got this question many times, like, is AI thinking going to replace design thinking or something or the other way around, right? It's nothing. Nothing is changing for us, right? AI definitely have limitations, right? So AI cannot predict to an artist what should I paint. AI cannot predict or ask a poetry or to someone who writes poems to say that what poetry you would write, right? Or AI, for that matter, still it doesn't exist today, cannot predict which boy to marry or which girl to marry, correct? It doesn't. Maybe down the line, after 10 years from now, things might change. My daughter might use a AI tool to check what profile matches for her, right? I don't know. That's the future. I'm not sure. So what I'm saying is, but AI has a lot of possibilities, right? Definitely, as a tool, as a technology, it has a lot of possibilities, and definitely, as designers, we should leverage that. But then one thing, what I always feel is, we designers always have that power to drive the future of AI strategy, right? Because everything is in our hand. Only thing what we need to do as a team, as a design community, is to learn, connect the dots together, learn, as I said, learn about AI thinking, computational thinking, economics, social science. Because one thing I'm telling you, if you buy something, a chocolate, with 1 rupee from the market, you're actually contributing to the GDP, right? And that's an economic model, right? If the price equilibrium, if the demand is less, the supply is more, there'll be always a shift in the price equilibrium, right? Similarly, there's something called Nash equilibrium, a part of game theory, right? So these learnings are important so that you can connect the dots, right? So AI thinking is just a mindset, right? And there's nothing beyond it. So embrace that mindset. Thank you. Any questions, guys? Cool, I'm before time. You can shout. You can come here.
Yeah, thank you for this keynote. It was great.
Your name, please.
Insightful. Yeah, this is Salim.
Hi, Salim.
So I lead a UX team in Hyderabad. I'm coming from Hyderabad.
Great.
I have one question since we are talking about design thinking and AI. So is this something that we can implement AI in all 5 stages of design thinking, starting from empathy?
Absolutely. So, see, what I'm saying is AI thinking is all about looking at a problem through the lens of computation, right? In the example what I showed you. So you have to think how I can solve a problem using stats or maths, right? Using computational elements, right? So that's about it. Now, design thinking will never go, but with AI coming in, you can adopt that approach to solve your problems.
Okay, so that means for empathy, when we take user interviews and all, can we substitute with something else without taking in user interview? Can we do that using synthetic users?
Don't do that. Because at this point of time, there are a lot of trust issues with AI. AI can hallucinate, right? That is going to stay for some time until the models are fixed, right? So imagine you are trying to develop a persona. You can either do it with AI, or you can either go to the field, talk to the users, and get it done. What is a better approach for you? I'm asking you.
It would, so far I know, it should be better to talk to the real users.
Exactly. That's about it. So I think AI will take ages probably to reach there. That's my thought, right? Again, so don't sue me if I go wrong. So that's my thought, that AI still would take some time to reach there, right? We're just scratching the surface of AI. That's it.
So for all these 5 stages, we need to choose wisely where to go with the entire AI, or some manual tasks are also required there, right?
Depends. I mean, so if you have to leverage AI thinking, right, you can definitely try out of think from a computational angle. If I can solve this problem using a chatbot, right? Is that feasible for you?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.